Hi, I'm Martha Swales and I'm a chef. Today I'm going to show you a delicious recipe. Right, so I'm going to show you how to make some mini quiches. My ones are going to be filled with some red onion marmalade, goat's cheese, spinach and thyme. Really delicious, one of my absolute favourites. Mini quiches are great because you can have them with a picnic. They're an individual portion, they're quite cute anyway. So the first thing I'm going to do is make the bases of my quiches. I've got some short crust pastry here that I've made. You can buy it from the shops quite easily as well though, but if you'd like to know how to make it, watch my video how to make short crust pastry. It's very easy. So I've just got it on a floured surface. I'm just going to roll it out. I'm going to roll this into a big square. I'm doing 4 mini quiches. So make sure that you've got enough flour on your pastry so that it doesn't stick. So the mini quiche tins that I've got haven't actually got removable bases. You can get ones with removable bases that make them easy just to push out. If you haven't got a removable base, it's really important that you properly grease your tin. So that's got butter and a bit of flour, which means we'll be able to take them out, otherwise they will get stuck and it'll be a disaster. So I'm going to cut my pastry into 4 pieces. Take this one. I'm just going to put it here so you can see. You just want to be pushing it down so it's pressed into the tin. Now what you want to do is just trim off some of the excess. Leave a bit of an edge though, because if you cut it so that it's exactly in line with the top of your tin, your pastry will probably shrink back a bit and you won't have enough of an edge. If you leave an edge now, after it's cooked, you can always trim it off. Okay, so I'm just going to run around now, the edge, just pinching together as we go round. This is why you want a little bit of excess. This will hold your pastry sides up. We're also going to blind bake them, but it's quite pretty anyway. Running around. Don't push too hard because you don't want to make the pastry too thin, so it's just a little pinch, trying not to thin your pastry. Okay, so now we're just going to put some little fork holes in the bottom of our cases. It's going to stop air getting trapped and rising up in a big bubble in the middle. Then we're going to pop a bit of greaseproof paper in and pour a bit of rice. Now this is called blind baking. We're going to pop these through the oven before we put our filling in because we don't want the base to go soggy. You can buy baking beads, which are little clay balls, which you might have. Otherwise, grab yourself some rice or some beans. What this does is it holds the sides up so they don't fall, because otherwise your sides are going to collapse and you end up with a very flat base for your quiches. So we're just going to finish this, pop them onto a baking sheet and pop them in the oven for maybe 10 minutes. Okay, so now that the cases are in the oven, we're going to make up the mixture to go inside. Now, I've got some red onions here that I've cooked down in white wine vinegar and some white sugar. It keeps them nice and pink like that. And they've got that kind of sweet but vinegary bite there. They're going to go in the base of the case. So you're going to have a nice layer of that lovely sort of onion marmalade at the bottom. And then we're going to put this filling on top. So what I'm going to start with, we've only got 4 small cases, so we don't need loads of mixture. I'm going to pop in 2 eggs. So we've got 2 eggs here. Pour in some double cream. It's a very rich quiche. That's why it's probably a good thing that they're mini. Okay. Now, I'm going to put in some salt, some pepper, pinch of ground nutmeg. Nutmeg in quiche, I mean, put nutmeg in all of your quiche mixtures, whatever you're putting in them. Now, this is basically my quiche base. Now, I can put anything in it. If you want to do a quiche Lorraine, you can have bacon, you can have cheese, you can do anything you want now. I'm going to put in some spinach. This has been cooked, and the really important thing is I put it in a tea towel and I squeezed out all the water, because when you've cooked spinach but you're then going to put it into something else, you need to get rid of the liquid, otherwise it will seep and make everything very wet. I've got soft goat's cheese here. That's just going to go straight into my mixture. I've also got a hard one which I'm going to crumble on top as well. Also just got a tiny little bit of fresh thyme. So let's mix those ingredients together. So the next stage is just to assemble our quiches, so let's get them out the oven. Basically, my pastry is now blind baked. You do have to be careful. Blind baking is a bit tricky because the bases stay soft and the sides can get a bit too much colour on them, but you can trim that off later if it burns too much when you put it in for the second time. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is get some of this lovely red onion and pop it in the base of our little quiches. You want to be generous with this. Next thing we need to do is put in our mixture. You want to leave a tiny bit of space because we're going to be putting some hard goat's cheese on top as well. And once you sink that into the mixture, it's going to spill over if you filled it up too much. So we've got hard goat's cheese here. So we're going to get our pieces of hard goat's cheese and we're just going to pop those into the top. The soft goat's cheese we put through does give it a little bit of a goat's flavour and adds a lot of creaminess, but it just doesn't have that intense flavour that, that a harder goat's cheese would have. So once we've done that with all of them, we're going to pop them into the oven and cook them just until the mixture's set. So these are really small, there's not much mixture in there, maybe 10-15 minutes. Okay, so they've just come out the oven. They look and smell amazing. Allow them to cool for a bit because if you try and take them out now, you'll burn yourself and it will probably crumble and be a disaster. So just let them cool down and then just lift them out. If your pastry's a little bit burned, you might want to trim that off, but it's quite useful, at least for the moment, to help you lift your mini quiches out of their tins. So that's my mini quiches. You can obviously make them with whatever filling you like, but that is how to make mini quiches.